Sheldon Dingwall at Dingwall Guitars. How are you, bro?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
So great to see you. So you're out in Saskatoon, and we are in the Dingwall shop right here, right now, and somebody's working in the background there. What's happening?
Mike Kazoob in the background working on an NG2 right now.
Oh, nice. So tell me something, Sheldon. What made you decide to get into becoming a bass architect? Because this is what I'm going to call you, because that's what I think you are.
Bass chose us. I had a team of one or two people with us at the time, and we're building guitars and repairing guitars. So we had a lot of musicians coming to us, and a lot of them were bass players going, you know, can you build me a 5-string bass with a B string that responds better? Mm-hmm. To be honest, I did some research on it and I turned them down. I said, no, we can't, because unless we can think of something to do that's different than what everybody else is doing, then we're just going to get the same results as everybody else is getting. It really took exposure to the fanfrets and having pianos in mind and realizing that scale length is everything as far as the low notes go. They need that extra room to breathe.
It's been a long journey for you.
Oh, it's been incredibly long. You know, it started on a kitchen table and advanced up to I think 3 or 4 employees, and we were shipping stuff to Germany. Germany was our first big market.
Okay.
And then moved shops to expand. That turned out to be a bad move because about 6 months in, the shop caught fire. Now, our shop didn't catch fire, but the building caught fire.
Okay.
And it was, at that time, that was the largest fire in the city's history. It made the national news. Wow. And it took out the whole building, it took out our shop, it took out a bunch of other businesses. And the next day I was back to the kitchen table again and starting over from scratch. And the goal at that time, when I was rebuilding, was the very first bass that we built after the fire is going to be the best bass we've ever built. And it was the best bass we've ever built.
What kind of bass was it and what was on that?
The very first bass had fanfrets. I'd built bass parts prior to that. I'd built bass necks, I'd built bass bodies, and eventually assembled them into a complete bass, but it was not, you know, it was parts, bits and pieces. The very first bass built from scratch was a fanfret. And it was, I made it with some funky woods, you know. I bought, I think, Polonia from a guy that used to play touch football with Elvis.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to hang out with the Memphis Mafia, and he was either, like, his cousin was part of the Memphis Mafia or something like that. But anyways, he had stories about playing touch football on the lawn of Graceland. He was just tickled pink that we were buying his wood and using it in guitars. Originally, the bass was going to be headless, but when I ordered the parts, they were missing some parts, and I looked at them and I went, man, these things weigh a ton. This just isn't going to work. So the whole design evolved really, really quickly. Like in the space of about 2 months, it went from just a drawing on a piece of paper to an actual working prototype. And we had to have custom strings made and custom pickups and custom bridges and everything. I can't believe how fast we turned it around.
So once you release these basses and you get it going, what was the reaction of the bass industry for Dingwall basses? Here we are. What was people's first impressions?
You know, everybody was pretty shocked and pretty interested in it. And we had not just bass players coming to see it, but we had drummers and singers. And hey, I heard about this cool bass. I'd like to see it. So there was a lot of excitement initially, and that excitement probably carried on for, I don't know, a good couple, 2-3 years. And then the retro movement hit, and we were all of a sudden, overnight, we were out of step with the rest of society. The rest of society was, you know, vintage guitars, vintage clothing, Chrysler PT Cruisers, you know, everything had to look old in order to be hip. And so we went from being cool to being the most unhip guys on the planet. And really the only people that kept us going were the engineering types. We have a guy in Montreal that works at the Rolls-Royce factory. Who's an engineer there. He's got a couple of our basses. Guys like him, NASA engineers, computer engineers. They didn't care about fashion as much. They cared about performance, and those are the people that kept us alive.
So you're telling me that it took people that appreciated technology an innovation that weren't necessarily even really in the music part of the business, but they were players, and these guys saw the potential and they helped make Dingwall Company go to the next level.
100%. Music is something that if you're on the outside looking in, you think it's all about being a pro musician, but there's so many talented musicians out there that you never hear about because they chose a different path than to be a pro musician. But truthfully, the guys that kept us going were the engineers.